One.
Hello, folks. It's Oz. I close out my screen and totally ruin this. It's Melinda here with the founder and main DM guy of Lurking Fears. We're going to have a little chat tonight, let you get to know him a little better, find out what went into the creating of Lurking Fears and why he thought he could pull it off. Hi, Matt. Thanks for
Hey,
going with
how's it
this
going?
idea.
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, this was actually your idea off of the DreamX interviews I'm doing with the players in our Pirates of DreamX game, also on this channel. Um, but yeah, you had the idea of doing the interviews. I'm like, yeah, doing some GM interviews and stuff like that for the Lurking Fears GMs would be fantastic. And so I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm giving you the dibs to do it. Absolutely.
And you were totally the man to start with, being
Thank you.
our head honcho. If you've ever been to a convention in the Chaosium area where the games and sessions are being run, if you're familiar with Rogue Cthulhu from past Origins, and you know Matt's laugh, even if you've never actually met him, which would surprise me right there. Um,
Hmm.
he's a jolly, devious, evil man, the
Yep.
keeper.
I
I
think
love playing in his games. Matt, how long have you been playing games? Tabletop
but
RPGs.
I've been playing games since I want to say 12. Yeah, I probably picked up my first book when I was 12. So a long time. Almost 40 years. Almost 40 years now. A long time.
When did you start running?
Not too long after that. So yeah, probably I've probably been running games since I was about 14 or 15. So yeah, close to the same. About 35, almost 40 years.
Now, I'm
Hmm.
curious, was it because the group you were playing with needed a GM, or was it because you wanted that challenge, or both?
Um, Honestly, I picked up the books because I just enjoyed the reading of them. I was an extremely well read kid. Um, as an army brat, there's a lot of time where you don't get to make friends and stuff like that. You're moving from place to place a lot, and you're going to new areas, so you don't make super tight friends because you're usually within a year or two you're gone. And when I was about 10, my dad finally retired and moved out into the country kind of area, which again threw me for a loop. Being being kids, being a kid, living on army bases my whole life, and then I'm being out in the country, so I had no idea what to do. But I still loved reading. I read everything. I read all the classic mythologies and stuff like that, the Greek, Norse mythologies. I was well read on all of that. And then I can't remember, somebody put Legends and Lore in my hand, the D&D Legends and Lore, the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, with all the different mythos in it. And I
Yeah.
loved it. I absolutely loved it. The illustrations were great, and the descriptions they had of like the Arthurian mythos, and it was the old one with the Cthulhu mythos in it too, and all, and the Norse mythos and stuff. I had no idea what stats meant. I had no idea what those were, but I just loved all the descriptions. But reading the legends and lore made me want to know more about D&D and stuff like that. So I started getting the D&D books, and once I started to know how to play it, I really didn't have that many people to play it with. Again, being out in the country in Meade County, didn't know a whole lot of people still. But my cousins would come down to visit from Wisconsin during the summer, and we were all peas in a pod. We were all like huge nerds, loved to read and stuff like that, and we were huge Star Wars nerds. And around that time, Star Wars, the West End game Star Wars came out, and
Mhm.
we gobbled it up, and I started running the games for them. I had no idea what I was doing, but read the books and figured I was good enough to do it. And I think the first game we ran was Starfall, where the rebels were taking on were trapped inside a star destroyer which was about to explode, and it was hilarious just trying to get them from point A to point B to get out of the ship. It was super fun, super fun, and I love my cousins for it. I'll never forget being able to build that experience off of them, and then finding other players and going on from that. Absolutely.
You're also a big Traveler fan,
Hmm.
which is evident with your Pirates of Drenax
Hmm.
campaign, also on YouTube. I'm going to check it out after listening to the mini interviews. Um, did you find Traveler before you found Call of Cthulhu, the other game that I know you as a GM for?
Yeah, I found it slightly before Call of Cthulhu. I didn't quite know what to do with it yet. I liked the idea of Traveler then when I first found it. It was very, very cool, but it was very crunchy. It was a lot of numbers and charts, and I swear to like do the spaceship combat, you had to have a degree in aeronautical math,
Oh my
uh, or,
gosh.
or or it would have helped. It was extremely complex to play like actual spaceship stuff. Whereas in Star Wars, it was very, very simple how to do it. And then there was also another game, a box set that came out around the same time that was called Star Frontiers, which is a more generic version of like a sci-fi game like Star Wars or Traveler. I often call it Traveler with training wheels because it's very basic. An 8-year-old kid could read the Star Frontiers books and know how to play the game. So that was fun. I was able to do that. Um, while I kept looking at Traveler, I didn't quite know what to do with it yet. I know I liked it, and I liked the idea of it and the whole history that Traveler had behind it, and how it was formed and how the universe was set up. But I wasn't ready for it yet. So then I played just a lot of D&D, and I played a lot of Star Frontiers or Star Wars when I wanted to do sci-fi. It wasn't until I was almost 30 did I actually know what I was doing with Traveler. And they came out with newer editions that were a little simpler for me to look at and kind of hand wave, and learned how to hand wave a lot of stuff that's in there that's crunchy. Yeah.
Um, so what is well, we're going to go right into what's your favorite game to run and why?
It,
Do
it's
you have
it's
a favorite?
it's neck and neck. Star I'm not Starfinders, Traveler and Call of Cthulhu, both for the exact same reason. They're both great storytelling games. Um, the Traveler universe is so vast that you can do anything in it. You want to do Star Wars, you can do it in Traveler. You want to do Star Trek, you can do it in Traveler. You want to do Logan's Run, you can do it in Traveler.
Cool.
It just there's a cajillion worlds in the Traveler universe that are all populated, and you can look at the Traveler's map. You can Google up right now travelermap.com, and it has this huge section that you can zero in on different planets, and it will tell you what's on that planet and their technology level and what they're about, and who they're associated with. So this huge network of people have gotten together over the past 40, 50 years that Traveler's been around, and have just created this entire universe. So you can literally do anything in it. Um, if I want to do Firefly, I can do it in Traveler. I know Joss Whedon played Traveler when he was a kid. He had to. He flat stole a lot of that stuff right out of Traveler. Um, um, it's just a huge open-ended kind of universe. There is a lot of set things going on, but the universe is so vast, it doesn't matter. You can be over here, completely disconnected from the huge interstellar war that's going on. So it's great for that. I love the storytelling aspect of it. You can zero in on whatever sector you want and just do it. Um, like right now, this game I'm doing right now has a huge Flash Gordon feel, the Pirates of Drenax, because they're working for this king who's, for all intents and purposes, King Voltan from the Flash Gordon movie. I mean, this guy has hawk wings, and the big burly guy with a beard, very 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 God, not Oliver Reed, but kind of like him. I'm forgetting the guy's name that plays Voltan in Flash Gordon. But he has big hawk wings and stuff like that, and he has this grav belt that he actually flies around with, with a whole retinue of like a hawk guard or whatever it is that they call. So, and it's a huge floating city that they're in over this ruined planet, and so it has a lot of echoes of Flash Gordon. So it's fantastic. Just to be able to throw that out at the players, and watch everybody kind of look at that with a squint and go, okay, this is hilarious, but we're gonna treat it as serious, But
You
then
have to buy in.
exactly, you have to buy in. Again, every planet is different. Every planet that you go to is different. A Cthulhu, for just the other aspect of it, I am a diabolical, devious bastard when it comes right down to it, and Cthulhu lets that out for me. It's very open ended. You can play in any era that you want, but it is grounded in reality. You're a normal, ordinary person. You're not, an eighth level fighter running around with +5 chainmail, a Vorpal sword. You're a guy running around with a 38 if you're lucky, and and whatever area you want to play in, you play Dark Ages, Stone Ages, Far Future. It doesn't matter. But
Let you ramp it up a little bit, so your character's a little more powerful, but you're still just a human.
Yeah, you're still very, very fragile compared to other game systems, and it lets me get that creative, I'm gonna kill these players aspect out. I try not to do it, and more often than not, my characters make it out by doing the smart things and stuff like that. But I will kill a bunch of what did they used to call them? Loot guys or whatever it is.
Shoot.
You know what I'm talking about. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
But
Bunny hollers.
Yeah, exactly. People that just like to go hack and slash and stuff like that, it will completely grind them up without any mercy.
I want to put a warning out there for anybody who may play A Mother's Love with Matt. This is your one and only warning. You will not survive, but
you will not survive. It's going to be fun. I literally just drowned everyone in the sewer last night in A Mother's Love. Drowned them all like rats in the sewer.
I died horribly off screen when I played with him. It was marvelous.
Exactly.
It was a good time.
I have absolutely no mercy with that game. I took that game that Seth wrote and I loved it, and I wrote Seth. I was like, well, what if this happens and what if that happens? And he goes, that is absolutely diabolical, which I carry as a badge of honor from Seth. So when he says that's great, I'm like, yeah, that can't be bad then. Absolutely.
I've played some with you. I've played in some of your Call of Cthulhu sessions. Thanks to the pandemic, we've played online, and usually those have been pre-written scenarios. But at cons, you mainly run your own, don't you?
No,
or a mix? No? Okay.
I like to mash things up. I like to take some of column A, some of column B, put them together, make something incredible. I will take a scenario. I love, this is my favorite thing to do at cons like Origins, where you meet people maybe for the first time. Yeah. I like to take a scenario that's well written, that's really, really good, has most of the contingencies already thought of in it, that you can just kind of go through and go, okay, I've got it. I know what this is about. And then I put like some kind of pop culture bent on it. Like I did Escape from Innsmouth, the classic Escape from Innsmouth scenario, but I kicked it into 1965 and made it Johnny Quest. The entire team was Johnny Quest. So they were, it was Race and Dr. Quest and Haji and somebody even got to play Bandit, which was incredible. People were killing each other to try to play Bandit, who'd never talked the entire game. So, or I'll mix it up with Star Trek. Star Trek is handmade for Call of Cthulhu. A lot of like the color out of space scenarios, like Deadlight. Everybody knows Deadlight if they play Call of Cthulhu. if you take that and put it on a space station instead of that gas station, it's completely awesome. It's completely different. And have Kirk and his crew running around on a space station trying to get away from this thing and shut it down. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's what I love to do.
See, that leads into my next question, which is, what kind of style do you have? It's very big storytelling.
Yeah, I'm very much what I describe as a cinematic GM. I'm a storyteller GM. I don't care what the genre is or what really the rule system is. Some tools are better than others. It's hard to make some rule systems work. Like D&D 5e almost works with horror. You can add stuff in it that makes it horror, like Strahd.
Yeah.
And add in some sanity rules, which are basically lifted right from Call of Cthulhu and stuff like that. But certain tools are good for certain jobs, and but I don't really care which one I'm doing with. I just want to tell the story. I want to tell the story, and I want to have the players have a part in telling the story with me. I give and take agency freely. I will let the players do pretty much whatever they want to do. But if it's kind of really going off the rails and we're getting silly, I will kind of, okay, guys, this is what we're doing. We'll get in back on this. And I'll try to do it in a way where I'm not, overtly taking their agency away with it, more of just, hey, let's get back on track kind of deal. But I'm very much a cinematic storytelling GM. The rules really, I force myself not to look at the book during the game. I'm like, if there's a rule I'm not 100% on with, I know enough of it to guess at it and be about 75% right. Like, I know the automatic rules for Call of Cthulhu, automatic weapons rules, kind of, without looking at it. Almost everybody has to read it whenever they're doing it. Somebody looks at the atomic gun. It's like, you roll each time for each 10% of the your skill, blah 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 blah. Each successive one is at a penalty, but there's all that. But most of the time, I'm like, "What's your skill?" I got 50% in guns. Okay, you can roll 5 times, but each other one after the first is going to be a penalty. I just hand wave it, and I'm like, as long as we're playing the same rules for everybody, the same rules apply. I don't see where we're going wrong. I have very, very few arguments at the table. Most of the people are apt to go with it just to keep the story moving along.
When do you think you develop the confidence to do okay, well, this is how we're going to do it without having to stop and see what the book says? Or were you lucky to always be like that?
I have a really, really good memory. So I've been blessed with that. A lot of people scream at me when I run games at Origins because I'll do like 5 different games, and I mean, like, I'll do Paranoia, I'll do Traveler, I'll do Call of Cthulhu, I'll do D&D, and they're like, "How do you keep 5 different rule systems in your head?" Plus an indie one, like the Blackest of Deaths, Eric Bloat's Blackest of Deaths game. I'll run one of those, and they're like, "How do you keep that on your head?" And I had a hard time explaining it until I read Extreme Dungeon Mastery, and I realized I was doing what that book was saying all along. All the games are the same, essentially. You boil it down to a target number, how they get to that target number, and go with it. Every game has some sort of target number that you're trying to get, whether it's a symbol on a certain amount of dice or an actual number that you're trying to hit. Each different game does have its own little nicks and little nuances to make it different, but it all boils down to that. And once you can just kind of distill it down to that, it's easier to run multiple systems and not look at the books. I rarely ever look at the book. If I think I'm making a rule that's not going to be fair to the players, I will crack open the book. I will call a break and say, hey, let me look this up to make sure I'm not doing you guys anything wrong. But I mean, that's like one out of every 100 games. I think I might actually have to make that. Hang on a second, guys. Let me not screw you over, kind of deal. More often than not, I kind of err in their favor if I do make a mistake.
In our home group, I don't think I wouldn't con. If there's a big question, then one of the other players looks it up while we try to
Yeah.
continue if we can,
Yeah. Hmm.
just to keep from bogging things down too much.
Exactly. Keep the story going. Yeah. If somebody wants to volunteer to do that, and you got time for them to do that, like if somebody can't decide which weapon they want to do, that's going to be more effective against the creature or whatever. Yeah. I'm going to be like, okay, you're stuck trying to decide. I'll let you go look that up while this guy is going in your turn. You know, it's fair. They're frozen trying to go. Which do I do?
And it keeps the game moving. So
exactly. Literally did that last night in the game. Yeah.
And I really enjoy playing in your games. I'm so glad that I got to during the pandemic. Would have rather not had the pandemic, but that was a nice thing that came out of it.
That's true. Yeah, I got to play with a lot of great people I normally don't get to play with.
Yeah.
Like yourself and a lot of people. Like I was playing with one person in Australia, the other person was in England last night. So that was fantastic. You know, listening to those two with their different accents going, I was absolutely dying. You know, having a great time playing with those two players. But then, getting to play with other GMs and stuff like that, like you and Rom and the others.
Seth,
finding
out how badly he rolls.
Yeah, who thought we got to play at a game with Seth Sikowski, right? And here we are. We played Aliens with him, so that was amazing.
Yeah, I really like everybody in that entire group and play with them.
Yep.
So it's been great. Okay, so why do people come play your games? Do you have kind of hey, Matt's running this, I've got to play it when you go to a con?
I brag on myself a lot for that, and I get myself in trouble more often than not for doing that. As soon as my games sell out, and I do tend to sell out quick, I post, this game's done, this game's full, and everybody's I do. I really have a bad shove it in people's noses, kind of bad.
You taunt us.
I do that, and everybody's like, I haven't even got anybody yet. I was like, I don't. And I think it is. I think it is just the storytelling aspect of the game. They know they're going to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the rules matter, but they don't matter.
And it kind of gets over the top sometimes. And
yeah, we'll get over the top, but we don't. We try not to offend anybody. But we still have just a great time just doing whatever we want to do in that game. They know they're going to be in for an awesome ride. I think in my games, with my mashups and stuff like that, most people kind of go in like, I want to play this game where I get to play Johnny Quest, or I want to play this game where I get to be Captain Kirk. So that's a big selling factor in the game right there.
They're like, wait, I remember playing that crazy game with him last year. Oh, yeah, I'm taking one of his games this time.
Exactly. Once I get them in on one of those games, if I'm running another game and like, that's that crazy bastard, I'll play his games. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, there is a good return factor on that. Once I've got you hooked in with the mashup, you'll like my playing style, or you'll find another game. I mean, most people really, really like me, or they absolutely can't stand me. There's no, Matt, he's okay. Nobody's like that.
A laugh.
Yeah, it's the laugh. Nobody's like on the fence, I don't think. Nobody's like, Everybody can.
Are there people who dislike you?
I've heard, but what happens?
I have to think about this a moment, Matt. I really do. I'm not just saying
it might take a moment, and they might hold it in their heart of hearts and not really tell anybody. But I'm sure I've got to be too obnoxious for some people. I'm sure.
Would you say, because we're talking about playing styles right now, and this is kind of about the Lurking Fears Club in general. Mm-hmm. Would you say that most of the GMs for Lurking Fears have in some ways kind of a similar, like storyteller, cinematic?
Yeah, I mean
Is
that's
there a
what
style you think that defines the club overall?
I think it is. I think it does define the club overall. I do seek out GMs that I know are storytelling GMs. I don't go after number crunchers. I don't, or rules
I feel so
lawyers.
special to be a part of it.
Thank you. Yeah,
I do.
thank you. Yeah, yeah. If you are a storyteller, you're a natural storyteller. I'll know it. I can tell it within 10 seconds of talking with you. I've always had that knack. My wife has teased me a lot, like that. I can talk to anybody, and which helps me a lot at the other cons, like the comic cons and stuff like that. I can go and talk to spend a weekend with George Takei, and it's great. We're having an awesome time. Where most people are like, duh, 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 it's George Takei. I mean, internally, I'm like, yeah, duh, 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 it's George Takei. but but he'll never know it. We'll sit there and have breakfast and be reading his New York Times and having an absolute blast. Um, but
You're
I
still going
have
to George Takei.
George Takei. George Takei. Yeah, George Takei. Absolutely. Yeah, I love being able to talk to anybody about anything. It's crazy how I know just enough of most subjects to get myself in trouble. Like I can talk to a mechanic a little bit about cars. I can talk to a sports guy a little bit about football. I can, uh, I can talk to most game designers about their game. you know, so I love being that social chameleon, I guess, and being able to talk a good story with the people. And I actively seek others out that are like that.
I want to take a moment here too to give a shout out to your wife because she isn't a gamer,
No,
but
long
she
suffering.
so generously shares you with all the rest of us who are. And I know that that can be difficult if you don't play, but you
Yeah,
have somebody who loves to play. And so
yeah,
I really appreciate
yeah,
your wife.
yeah. I mean, yeah. She realizes that's my creative outlet. I mean, lots of husband and wives, they have hobbies that take them away from the spouse, whether you're hunting or fishing or shopping or what have you. She knows this is my thing. I like gaming. Of course, I read comics and stuff like that too. But this is more of my thing. I could give up my comics. I could give up uh, my Marvel Cinematic Universe or whatever like that. But I couldn't give up gaming. I absolutely could not do it. It's my creative outlet. Um,
That and when you post pictures of the two of you on Facebook, you're so stinking cute together. Um,
Thanks. Yeah.
but I wanted to thank her for not giving
Awesome.
you a hard time for gaming because
No,
it can be
no.
difficult. I know.
Yeah, no, I mean she watches out for me and and stuff and health wise and stuff like that. Like I'll go to too many cons and I'll get run down, or like when I get an illness or I get sick, she's like, "You really can't do this because you're sick," and I'm like, I get it. So she is a good um, uh, arbiter for
All
this is what you need to do versus what you want to do, kind of deal.
right. Can
Absolutely.
we maybe move into talking about Lurking Fears and
Sure.
the club a little bit about it and how it came to be about? How long have you been doing cons for gaming?
I've been doing gaming cons about almost 10 years, I want to say.
I'm going
Yeah.
to
Well,
guess
I've
you've been
been,
doing other conventions before that, or
yeah, yeah. I mean, I went to a few gaming cons before, but I really wasn't big on cons until I got tapped to run the gaming track for a con. There was a local big con here, and I'm going to make some people squirm a little bit when I say Phantom Fest. It was a big con here in Louisville area. It grew exponentially every year. I mean, first we had like 3,000 people, and then it was 8,000 people, and then it was 12,000 people, and towards the end we were getting towards 16,000 people, and then lastly 30,000. It was absolutely nuts. It kept getting bigger and huger. We were riding that wave of the pop culture mania. We had all kinds of celebrities. We had the Walking Dead guys when they first came out, Bruce Campbell, and that's what kind of got me through to being able to talk to the celebrities and stuff like that. Um, I'd hang out with I'm skipping out on his name, the guy who played Captain Jack on Doctor Who, John Barrowman. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, just hanging out with those people, having a good time. Kevin Smith's on my phone. If he's if he's in the tri-state area, he will call me, see if I'm free to go to a con with him, which I absolutely love that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I spending a weekend in Texas with Kevin Smith is an absolute education. That man, for a fat boy from New Jersey who's now very thin, thank God for him. For a fat boy from New Jersey, he has an encyclopedic knowledge of every strip club in the East Dallas area. So, yeah,
Are you sure you wanted to share that?
I'm completely fine with it. He knew it all.
Wow.
He wanted to go, and I had to take care of him, so that's where we went. But um, just a super crazy guy. But I got to going into the other gaming cons because again I've always been nuts about gaming, and I got to explore the other cons like Origins and Gen Con and stuff through that being a gaming director for Phantom Fest. Phantom Fest exploded. The guy the guy who was running it was a complete scam kind of a guy, and was very Hollywood, very kind of sleaze kind of guy. The more and more I got to work with him, the more I realized it. And then it was more of a, well, I'm just going to do this for the contacts kind of a deal. And I can always be grateful for doing those cons just to have that knowledge. Because when it did explode, it exploded in a really big, ugly way. I came out of it relatively unscathed because a lot of people realized, hey, it wasn't you; it was the people who were running it. You just tried to do the gaming, you know. But I suffered through it pretty much okay, um,
Good.
and still had my name relatively intact. Uh, just because the association with Vanfest was bad. It was really bad. There are some very big scam cons out there, and you got to watch out for them. So, but yeah, I still kept my contacts that I had made, and kept going with Origins and stuff like that, and got through all kinds of good gaming groups, and as I worked with Rogue Cthulhu, kept going with those gaming groups with that. Once Rogue Cthulhu kind of had its upend a couple years ago, I decided that I would make my own. I would make my own group, but it would be much more low key. Uh, I'm older now. I'm almost 50 in a couple months. Uh, so I
You're just a
decided,
baby.
yeah, yeah, I feel much older, but
Me too.
yeah, but I realized that I still had a lot of contacts and a lot of things I could do to help the gaming community. So I decided I would make the Lurking Fears group, and we would concentrate on doing first grim, dark, and horror gaming. But we really, honestly, we're open to everything, um, as long as you again like telling a good story. But I wanted it to be more of a resource for conventions. If you need some people to run games for you, that's awesome. We have people that can do that for you. If you are a convention and you're looking for people, that's awesome. We can do that for you. If you're a GM looking to play games at a convention or wanting to learn anything about doing things at a convention, we have the contacts and stuff that you need to kind of help you out. So yeah, I definitely wanted to just make it an open resource to organize games at conventions, and then help people that are wanting to do games at conventions being able to do that. Just to be able to have to be able to jump in and go, hey, there's this con here. What do you know about it? Can I do they run games there? How does that work? And if I don't know that con, I guarantee I know somebody who does that can go. Yeah, they do gaming. They don't do gaming. They're more of an anime con or something like that. But if you want to try to do it, talk to this guy. Something like that. Um, so yeah, first and foremost, we want to be a talented pool of GMs that are available anywhere in the country to run games like Chaosium, Call of Cthulhu games, or something like that at a convention. Pretty much, at any time. Um, we center around Origins and Gen Con, stuff like that. But yeah, anytime.
All does Lurking Fears have members, and where all are there members who are also willing to run?
Say again, I didn't quite come through.
Where all geographically does Lurking Fears have their members? How far away
Most
are the members from? Because I know you're in Kentucky. I'm in Ohio.
Yeah, most of us are in the central and northeast U.S. We have a few in the south, like in Tennessee. I mean, south. A few in like Florida. But then we got like Elisa over there all the way in Oregon. She's a lurker, and she knows games and stuff like that. She may not officially run games at cons under a Lurking Fears banner or something like that, but we'll take her.
And she runs a good game. That was the first game of Call of Cthulhu I ever got to play.
She is
one of Alyssa's at Origins 4 years ago.
Yeah, she is absolutely a great player and a great GM. She's an absolute riot to play with because she takes nothing seriously, absolutely nothing. You can see when she's playing in one of my games, she's just like, screw it, man, let's just do it. She probably knows the scenario or the rules and stuff even better than I do, but you'll never know it. She's in there to play and throw dice and crack jokes and have a good time and pet her cat.
And she's a really nice person. I have liked her since I first met her.
Yeah.
Put that out there, Alyssa, not to embarrass you, but
just a great person. She's got a great personality. She is super, super fun to sit at a table with, even virtually.
Yeah. Well, you asked, I was going to ask what made you want to start the Lurking Fears Club, but you have already answered that one. What sets Lurking Fears apart from some of the other clubs out there? I mean,
I guess
I'm trying to think of other things that run Call of Cthulhu, but my knowledge base is kind of limited because I only did my first con 4 years ago.
Yeah.
The first con I went to, I ran at. So
yeah, there are other groups out there like U2, King Cthulhu.
Yeah.
That are at cons that I know are at cons. Amorphous Blob, they run Call of Cthulhu games at cons. I guess it's just the fact that I don't know how different it is, but I know this is just how we operate. We're very open. We're very come as you are, come run some games. Whether this is the first time you've tried running games or you run games for 50 years. Come on and run some games, have a fun time, and we're pretty open about that. And then again, I just really aim for it to be more of a resource rather than an organization. I guess if I want it to be able, I want it to have that flexibility to where I don't have to be at every con. If you want to go run some games at like Sin City Con, and I can't make it, I'll be like, okay, go grab a couple GMs and go have fun. I can't be there, but you got my support. I'll get you, where you need to go and who you need to talk to. If you need some prize support or something like that, I can make that happen.
And we've seen a little bit of that with the online cons so far too. Like Gary Con, I kind of feel like you were there, but it was wrong.
Yeah,
put it together.
Yeah, I was busy running, getting ready to do like a charity con for a local Comic Con, and I had for a local game store that was having a hard time, and I was really concentrated on that. And Gary Con was popping up at the same time, And I know he's been wanting to do that anyway. He's kind of hinted that like, hey, let me know where I can help, kind of thing like that. And I was just like, hey, do you want to do the organizing for this? Do you want to corral the GMs, get them organized where they need to go, blah 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 blah. And he
Heard the
absolutely,
cats.
yeah, heard the cats, absolutely. And he absolutely loved doing it. He jumped right into it and did it and did a fantastic job. Everybody at GaryCon had a great time.
I think one of the things that lurking is that you are very supportive, and not just you, the group itself.
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
are quite a few GMs there who will have your back and they will support you, especially if you're not sure about what you're doing, you're new to the whole thing. Um,
Yeah.
you made
Yeah.
my first con a blast,
Thanks.
just in your confidence in me. Um, and I think that the group as a whole brings that for others as well,
Yeah.
which makes for
Yeah.
better DMs.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Yeah, we definitely are in the support for each other on that. Like when we do Origins and Gen Con and stuff like that, Chaosium and other companies, they send us their convention scenarios for that year.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we would like for you to run these scenarios. These are the scenarios we're running at cons to get people into Cthulhu. And most of them are like 1 or 2 hour demos to get people who've never played the game interested in the game. Some of them are a little more, 3 or 4 hour games for the more practiced people, to say, hey, here's something new to try. I like for all of us to be able to get together and say, hey, who wants to run this? Who wants to run that? Let's all give each other time to read it. And then
Yeah.
what questions do you have about it? Do we need to do a play test? Do we need to run through it and see how it plays? We've done that many times. There's been several scenarios that we played and gone, oh man, this is not going to work. We need to rewrite this,
Why?
that.
I can think of a few. And
Yeah.
the ability to get to read the scenario before you commit to running it
Yeah.
is a biggie for me, because because initially we get the same description that players looking through the con catalog get. And I've seen some that I'm just like, that doesn't sound like anything I'm going to have a good time running and do a good job with. And I'll pass. And later, for whatever reason, I'll have to come back to it and maybe run it. And I'm like, this is phenomenal. I love this particular scenario. And once I
Absolutely.
thought I would I'm like, how many times did I sign up to run this game?
Yeah.
And you don't know until you read it, really.
Yeah, some of them are chores, some of them are an absolute blast to run. The trick is, again, to play test, to know the material enough, and thank God that we do get the material in hand in time to read it, because as storytelling GMs, we need to know the game backwards and forwards enough to be able to set the game down and go, this is what we're doing, and not look at it.
And go off script if you need to.
And go off script if you need to.
Because it's
Absolutely.
not the scenario.
Absolutely. Yeah, just read it, get it down to where you distilled the plot. You don't even have to know everybody's names. You can sift through the book or the games or have a notepad with the characters' names and stuff enough to fake you through it. But yeah, you definitely have to read it enough and hopefully play test it at a time or two to where you can go, this works, this doesn't work, this might work with this kind of group.
I have about a 50-50 ratio with getting to play test them versus not.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, but I mean, as Lurking Fears does more cons and stuff like that, more bigger cons, like Origins and Gen Con, I definitely want to make sure we set aside the time for all the people that are doing games like that to be able to play test amongst each other. That was one thing I learned with another group, Crafty Games. Super great bunch of guys that do spycraft, fantasy craft. They would give us the adventures and but we would get it like the day of the con, and we, or like the day before we were supposed to be there at the con, and we would all get together that night and play it, and we would absolutely do everything we could do to break that game. To just for those players that come in, and and see and just absolutely kick the the tires out of the game to see what we can do with it. So definitely want to keep that aspect of it up in Lurking Fears to be able to have the GMs know we are there for you. We're here to support you. We have all this stuff available for you, and we're also here to help you decipher it.
Do you think the proliferation, I guess, of the past year of so many of us making use, this is the most awkward question, but making use of the online resources, like, you're using StreamYard now, a lot of us
Mm-hmm.
are still using Discord, um, will make it easier for us to put together people to just go, hey, help me role play this, especially if it's other GMs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a good blackboard to throw some ideas up at and go, does this work? Does this work? You can hopefully you have 3 or 4 core players that you can get a hold of and go, hey, I want to try this. Fortunately, like I have several people here that now that we have gotten our COVID shots and stuff like that, we can start doing that more in person now. I literally have a convention that I signed up for uh, in June, and I looked at the game. I've never ran that game, but I've always wanted to, and I've never ran that game. So I've got a whole
That's
like
not going to stop you.
yeah, yeah. It does not stop me in the least. I got 3 or 4 people and go, hey, I want to do a play test of this. Can we get together? And just run through it to make sure I have the rules down, because I got a hold of a couple people that have played the game and that they can jump in here and real quick and be like, yeah, it works like this, it doesn't work like that. For enough for me to be able to get through this one shot that I want to do and have a good time, and kind of at least look like I know what I'm talking about. And I definitely think Discord and all the online communities and stuff definitely help that. There's always in most of these conventions that I go to, like Gary Con, Friends of Jackson Elias, they have like a lounge
Yeah,
or some kind of lurking for group,
pickup games.
looking for group, yeah, pickup games to where you can come in and play a game, and the one that you've thought about maybe playing, or something that's completely made up, off the cuff, that you can try and give it a chance with it to see if it'll work. Absolutely.
Where do you hope to see the club in the future? I'm afraid to say how many years out, but
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Oh
yeah,
wow,
especially
that
after, last year.
that question. I want to see us back in cons, honestly, more than anything. But
Oh,
yeah, I mean
yes.
that's the obvious answer. Um, I really just want to continue it to be a resource. I don't know if I have the wherewithal to make it a full-fledged organization, like, and I don't want to just name names because I may be completely wrong, but people like Baldwin Games or something like that, where they have this group of people that do this, and everything's very organized, and they're very, this is all done this way, and everything's in the box. Um,
That's not going to work. Not too many of us run Call of Cthulhu. We're cults.
yeah,
We belong to the cult of chaos.
we're too chaotic. We're too chaotic. Well, that, and we like to run different systems and stuff like that too. Rom absolutely loves aliens right now. I cannot get him off the aliens kick.
He's not
Uh,
the only one.
yeah, James is running some other thing like that's kind of like Dungeon Crawl Classics or not, and he loves Deadlands. He loves Savage Worlds. God bless him.
We're going to
Going
play
to,
some of that this summer. I'm so
oh,
excited.
oh, God bless. But it's a game. But I just want it to be more of a resource that GMs and players can go to, and continue to have a good time playing games, having a good time, uh, getting to know each other, building that uh, friendly aspect, that friendly familial sort of aspect, with each other, but not get so regimented and organized. I'm not that person. I've never been that person. Um, I am very, very chaotic in my head of what things are
Yeah,
going on
I
all the
just
time. I've never been that guy. I've never had that binder that's tabbed with the different footnotes and all that. No, that's never been me. Um, I just want I really just kind of want to expand our fan base amongst the different conventions to where people, when they see the Lurking Fear sign at the convention, they're going, "Oh yeah, we're going to go there and have a good time." That's it. you know.
so you don't have, I kind of hope the club continues to grow some, but
Absolutely, definitely want to expand. Yeah, I want to expand. Name recognition wise, absolutely.
yeah, oh, name recognition would be a big thing for me.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it grow so fast really quickly
yeah,
because I've seen that happen with other things I'm involved with that aren't even necessarily gaming, and it suffers.
yeah. Well, I mean that happens, and then people get into the corp mindset, and again want to regimentize and structure things, and go on. Well, we can get this sponsor if we do this. We can get these people on
Yeah,
board if we do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to be able to go, oh, I'm sorry, Rom, you can't play Aliens because we're only running Chaosium games at this convention. you know, uh, don't want to do that. Don't want to be that guy, and I'm not going to be that guy. So, as far as that aspect of it, yeah, that will never change as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, definitely just be able to, when people see our sign at whatever con they go to,
hmm
a light will go on and go, man, that's like my 7-Eleven. I need to go in there. you know,
got to play with them.
yeah, I got to play with these guys.
And I like the fact I would love to see the name recognition happen with a variety of. I definitely will find something to play. Maybe I'll find something new to play
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
because we don't have any one or two set systems.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited and proud part of Lurking Fears.
Awesome, thanks. Then I must be doing something right. Absolutely.
So we are approaching the 1 hour mark. Do you think we should try to wrap this up?
Yeah. Do you have any last questions about anything? And I'll try to do it in this last
Well, I
eight or so
guess
minutes.
I know kind of what's up for Lurking Fears, but not our listeners may not. What's happening this year with Lurking?
What's happening where?
What's happening with the group this year? I mean, we're continuing to run things online.
Yeah,
And you need to connect with our Facebook group if you want to see what's going on there.
yeah. We only do the Facebook group. I don't worry about maintaining a website. Everything I need to do, I can do from the Facebook group. So go to Facebook. Hopefully, you still have a Facebook account. Uh, and can find our group there. Just Google Lurking Fears. We're going to be the first one that comes up. Um, no, we're going to be running games at Origins. We're going to be running games at Gen Con if they happen. That's great. We're also looking at being at Con on the Cobb. Uh, my number one guy, number two guy, my number one guy, Josh. He is going to take the helm and run Necronauticon 2. I believe at the same place where Con on the Cobb is held later on this year. So hopefully, as things get open again, you will be seeing us more at cons, and we can definitely express that openness towards everyone, that we want to be there for everybody to come play and have a good time.
So the best way to connect with Lurking Fears is, of course, our Facebook group. Super easy to find.
Mm-hmm.
Can people also connect via Discord, or are you set up for that with Discord?
I mean, you can. I'm not sure if you can find us on Discord or not. If you can type in "Looking Fears" and something comes up. I mean, we do have the group there, the Discord room there. But the best way, honestly, to come in is to find us on Facebook. I mean, if you want to leave a message in the Discord room, I'm sure I'll pick it up. But yeah, best way, honestly, is to just find us on Lurking Fears. Join the group, leave a message if you have a question. We'll get right to you. Absolutely, somebody will.
I guess maybe people don't have Facebook and don't want to get Facebook in just because. They can maybe leave a comment here on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, you definitely leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Yeah, absolutely, you can do that.
No
I'll,
Patreon, guys. So
I'll get to you somehow, some way, through email or something. I'll send an email to you. We can definitely make that happen.
and I personally would say if you've got some ideas for things you might like to see on the Facebook channel, bug Matt. No,
Yeah, absolutely.
because he has
I'm,
nothing else to do. Um,
no, I'm always open to ideas. Absolutely.
yeah. Um, I think that's about it. If you take the time to watch this, really very much appreciate it.
Yeah.
This is my first time doing some kind of interview thing like this where I'm in the interviewer seat, but it has been a blast to talk to you, Matt.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. One thing I would like to close with, especially in the times that we're in, I definitely want everyone to know that Lurking Fears is an open table, and I
Oh,
mean
yes.
that absolutely literally. When you come to the table, we don't care who you are, where you come from, what you've done before. If you're there to have a good time and be decent and respectful to everyone, we're going to have a good time. That's fine. We are definitely open to all people. That being said, we don't accept negative attitudes or negative aspects or toxic people in any way. So if whoever you are, wherever you are, if you want to come play a game and you're worried, you're like, oh, I've never played a game before, or maybe they won't take me seriously because I'm this. I don't care what this is. If you want to come and have a good time, that's where we're here for.
If I act a little awkward when you walk up to my table, it's honestly because internally I'm so excited you are there because the more diversity I get at my get.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I don't care what your gender is, how you identify, what your pronouns are. I will do my best to use the correct ones if I know them. I don't care who you're attracted to or not, or your politics. As long as don't even bring the politics up.
Don't even
I
do it.
want you at my table to come have a good time.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that's what I envision an open table as. Everybody just coming together and putting the real world aside from them, behind them for a little while, and enjoying each other's company for 3 or 4 hours, and having a good time. That's it.
I
That's
kind
all
of think
there's
that's
to
how
it.
it should be. So,
Yeah, that's exactly how it should be. All right, yeah, but yeah, that's all I really wanted to close with. Absolutely.
bye everyone. Thank you. Hopefully, we'll see you at a gaming table, online or otherwise.
Thank you.
And have
Absolutely.
a good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.